Hello everyone. As we all know, SRAM Red eTap is here. And while the initial offering from SRAM is primarily designed for 2x11 drivetrains, the system also works exceptionally well for a 1x11 setup. And a 1x setup gives you true sequential shifting up or down the range of gears on the rear cassette. In this video, I show you the eTap 1x setup on my Ridley Helium road bike. But let me first give you a little background. A couple of years ago, I had to replace my cracked Cannondale road frame. While moving the group set over to the new CAD 10 frame, I had a great deal of difficulty adjusting the front derailleur just right to eliminate chain rub in all the gear combinations. I was so frustrated, I ditched the front derailleur altogether and installed a narrow-wide single chainring up front for a 1x setup. I've now put thousands of miles on this setup. With a short cage standard rear derailleur, I have not dropped the chain once. My biggest reason for staying with the 1x setup, you ask? Simplicity. It is a pleasure to do all of my shifting with just one finger on my right hand. Tap the singular lever with that finger once to shift to a harder gear, double tap to shift to an easier gear. I enjoyed the 1x setup on my Cannondale road bike so much, I also converted my Ridley cyclocross bike to a 1x setup. To handle the bumps and the mid-cage length required by a 32-tooth rear cog, I installed the excellent SRAM Rival 1 rear derailleur. The performance of this clutch-type derailleur has been outstanding, with virtually no chainstay slap or no drop chains. I really enjoy riding my cyclocross bike with its 1x drivetrain, particularly on a demanding single-track segment with lots of fun twists and turns and ups and downs. So why go with a 1x setup with SRAM eTap? Same reason as before. Simplicity. You've seen the SRAM marketing campaign for eTap, stressing that only 3 user operations are needed. Tap the left lever to shift to an easier gear, tap the right lever to shift to a harder gear, tap both levers simultaneously to shift the front derailleur. Well, what do you know? With a 1x setup, it is even simpler. You now only need to do 2 things. Tap the left lever to shift to an easier gear. Tap the right lever to shift to a harder gear. For my eTap setup, I am using 3 satellite shift buttons, which SRAM calls blips. 1 on each side of the stem to facilitate thumb shifting while climbing, and 1 just under the inside of the right shift lever hood. Thanks to the YouTube video from Anthony over at 2hubs.com, I learned how to run a blip wire from the left shifter internally through the handlebars and over to a blip adjacent to the right shift lever. This allows for an additional level of simplicity. I can perform all eTap shift functions with just my right hand by activating the right shift lever with a finger or the nearby blip button with my thumb. My final comment, riding SRAM eTap in a 1x configuration is both simple and fun. Give it some thought and enjoy your ride.